3 days later, and down day is causing more issues. Guillotine 2099 went lower than expected last week, and we have an update on some interactions and synergy bugs. Yes, hello everybody, welcome back to the Marvel Contest of Champions news for Monday, the 11th of November 2019. Let's be honest, we're still recovering from all the stuff that went down on Friday, which is still causing a domino effect throughout different content and different mechanics in the game currently. Which is pretty much going to be the structure of this Marvel Contest of Champions news, because I need to get you informed with the stuff that's still affected and still Kabam are trying to work on to try and get it right. Let's kick off the news as we normally do in the forums, and especially when it comes to the message right at the top. Now, if you followed over the weekend, Friday, you'll know that there was a message over the top basically saying the extent of the issues. Now, even though the banner says about one issue, which we'll cover in a moment, I'm sure there's a few other things that people are still finding to this day. One of those major issues still outstanding is the ability to collect rewards. Now, for a lot of you may go, I can collect rewards. Yes, but you may not be able to collect some of them from Friday. So as you can see here, people are kind of explaining that they've been able to claim the 4 of 5 or the 5 of 5 in any given objective sequence, or claim certain rewards from different kinds of solo events. But for whatever reason, they're not able to claim the stuff that had problems with it on Friday. Obviously, well done to Jeff for asking the question to Kabam Mike, and Kabam Mike for obviously answering, just kind of explaining that situation. Saying, hey there, we are aware of this issue. It affects any rewards earned during our troubles on Friday. It will not be fixed until at least early next week, so this week. But we are dedicated to making sure we make this right for affected players. And obviously in the next few days, we're probably going to see some compensation packages coming our way. What they'll be is still very much unknown, but I'm sure that Kabam will represent and come up with something that is pleasing to the player. But there's been a further update to this post based on a few things that have gone on in the last 24 to 48 hours. Saying we've seen multiple conversations regarding missed wars and enlistment or other knock-on issues caused by the problems that we experienced on Friday. We are aware that this affected many different alliances in different ways, and are looking at solutions to solve this problem that many alliances experienced. We cannot undo the problems that occurred, and will need to explore some creative options to make this right for our players. We won't have the solutions right now, but we'll continue to explore our options and have a solution next week. And obviously by that he means that it's this week, because this was posted yesterday, so he means this week, so Monday through to Friday. Losing out on competing in the war is a big deal, especially when you get higher up the platinums and obviously into your masters. So at the end of the day, there's going to be some alliances that are going to be really darn pissed off with the situation, and not to mention the fact of those that are making major gains, but the fact is they would be major gains in vain, because Kabam may make the decision to then make sure that some of the other alliances that are kind of close to one another would have a war together. But at the same time, you have to consider that maybe some alliances could be in Master, some alliances could be in Platinum 3, 4, and maybe some could be in like deep in Gold, and trying to pair them up to have a war isn't actually going to work, depending on who is left for the enlistment process, who is available for the matchups. Kabam will really need to box clever with this, how they do this. Would they create alliances to pair up against one another that are exactly the same, but at the same time one would have to just go in a losing war, but they'd lose no points? There's so many things that Kabam have to sort out with this, and how they end up making the situation right is going to be difficult. If you give rewards specifically to those that lost out, like myself, does it mean that it's going to be unfairly giving out stuff to people? But at the same time, those that benefited from the situation, able to catapult up, you know, they would benefit. There's a lot of things that Kabam would need to consider when trying to put together something that's right in this given situation. I'd love to say that it was going to be a case we had two equal wars or alliances to war together that wouldn't cause any issue to the greater scheme of things, like it is with us dropping nearly 200 rank placements in order to kind of continue on the season. And yeah, it is going to be a real big knock-on effect. Let me give you an example here. This is an alliance that were in Master right at the top there. Now they're down into Platinum, and it's like, you know, for them it's a big deal. It's not so much of a big deal when you go down a lot lower. It isn't to a degree, but then when you kind of look at it, just go like fiddle-dee-dee, it's just another one. But because you get up really high towards your Platinum 1s, your Masters, it's very hotly contested. So trying to get those amazing rewards is so darn important. So this is a big deal at the moment. Also, in other news, Contest of News put this very kind of like passionate post together about rewards changes as well as things like 5-star arenas, because let's face it, like the 5-star basic arena is something we'd always like to see, but it's never really come to fruition. There's a little bit more on this story rather than me just saying this is a great post. The thread continues with a post that is done by Dragon of the unofficial Marvel Contest of Champions podcast, who as well continues to talk about the passion of the game, but as well talking about the level of time that's required in order to reach certain types of cutoffs and the extent of community pressure, especially when you look at the fact that you only give out 150 of those champions to players, which in some cases can be seen as a little bit unfair. The post also goes on with great analysis of the situation and again the more pressures that the player base have as a result of trying to get those incredibly high scores. I strongly suggest you to go and give this a read in its entirety as well as the whole kind of post in general, but at the same time you'll get a lot more information by going to the unofficial Marvel Contest of Champions podcast, link in the description, because you'll learn a lot more about community as well as game aspects, especially with the episode with Kabam Thel and Kabam Mike, because you'll get some information which you wouldn't expect you're going to get. So, you know, there's a lot of transparency in it. Go and check out the podcast. And now on to 2 bug fix updates. Unfortunately, due to the extent of what happened on Friday, there is a little bit of an issue with this actually being sorted out. So one thing was that we had the Cap Infinity War bug with Petrify and how it would not work in conjunction with fights against Doctor Doom. Obviously, that's a good thing at the moment, or was a good thing until She-Hulk wasn't working, but now is. And the same thing with Cap Infinity War in that, well, for whatever reason, this has not been fixed yet. I'm sure we'll get an update very soon. But also there's another one, and that's the Aegon Synergy bug, which, as you know, was all about protecting the combos, the combo shield with it. But for whatever reason, that was being looked into on Friday. But I think with the scuffness that happened with the down day, it meant that, well, Kabam weren't looking at it. They were, whilst it was down, trying to look into it. So I don't know. When there's an update on this thread, I'll let you know. Also, quick bit of surprising news on Thursday. Guillotine 2099 went down to 44 mil. But I don't know what that could be attributed from. Largely, I think it's because of the new update going live. A lot of the side quests and people's time just absorbed with that. I suspect in the coming weeks we'll see highs again, except for obviously this weekend where there was the down day, which dramatically affected what the cutoffs were, and people were getting some really decent like stuff. And I was, you know, you really hope that some of these stay the same. But in any case, yeah, Guillotine went low, and when Cull Obsidian and Civil Warrior are concerned, man, down day affected them greatly. So it's gonna be difficult to predict stuff, but I think that I could do it a good enough job. So Cull Obsidian, you're seeing 2.1 mil was a cutoff for Cull Obsidian. Even people getting in for 2 mil. I think there'll probably be even situations where he's going for 1.9. But I think when you're looking at round 2, and let's be real, people are able to actually get into arena and battle. I think 2.4 to at least 2.6, with 2.6 being the most to put in, will be enough for this champion. It's not going to go to record highs of like close to about 3 mil, but I think it's going to be sufficient enough that people kind of back it. The 3-star version of Civil Warrior, I'd probably say 800k may be enough. He must have gone like a lot lower when it came to the cutoffs based on Friday's down day. The 4-star Civil Warrior, I've seen a 5.6, so I think as soon as you do the milestones, you probably pretty much got him. And even position 74 with 22 mil was enough to get this champion. But do bear in mind, all of these things were affected by down day, which means that the extent of people wanting to grind, and obviously through Saturday, people just being like, do you know what, if the game's going to be scuffed, I ain't interested in playing. And it obviously looked like that was the case. My prediction for this would be a very safe 28 mil, which I know is a lot more than what people might think than the results actually show. But let's face it, guys, people may start coming back to play and feel secure this week. Fingers crossed. And I just want to end the news with this. Now, I don't know, this was posted to me by somebody in Discord, shout out to Talon, and I saw this and just like, what? Why is this an interaction? And this is a pretty cool interaction. It'd be cool if Gwenpool had all these other kind of like different interactions with different characters, especially to say that you look like War Machine in a hoodie. Yeah, that's a great little insult. Obviously, leave it on a funny note. Thanks very much for watching the Marvel Contest of Champions news. Let's hope we've got some good news for you by Wednesday. Some synergy bugs and other bugs sorted out, issues all gone, and a compensation package that makes everyone go, oh, do you know what? I can put this behind me and move on. Fingers crossed, you know. Thanks again for watching. See you in the next one. Bye for now.